And we're gonna go ahead and get ready to jump into our next story. This one is a little serious, guys. I'm like still tripping off of it personally myself, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. So this story, basically what was going on was a man who was 61 years old, Harvey Murphy Jr. Of California, but originally was living in Texas. He says that the AI, artificial intelligence, and facial recognition software falsely ID'd him for robbing a Sunglass Hut, and he ended up going to jail. And the story gets worse from that, guys. Not only did he go to jail, he got assaulted. And this was done by Sunglass Hut, and it was Macy's store. And I'm going to go ahead and just read this story from NBC News. It says a 61-year-old man living in California was wrongfully accused of robbing a Sunglass Hut in Texas, arrested, and then sexually assaulted by inmates after facial recognition software falsely identified him as a suspect. Now, this is crazy. I'm just going to pause right quick. They were saying that AI, that facial recognition software, tends to make mistakes when it comes to like people of color and women in particular. It can mix people up. You know, they say we all look alike, but seriously, you have to be careful with this whole AI technology thing, because that little thing's like pew, 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 you know, trying to do this little matrix thing. And before you know it, you could be catching a case because the AI says it was you. You look like that guy. And I mean, shoot, how long before we get to Minority Report? We're like, hey, if you thought about the crime, we can foretell, we're going to come check you based off your search histories or something. It's a little sci-fi, a little crazy. But anyway, let's get back to this story. On January 22nd of 2022, two armed men threatened a store manager and associate and stole thousands of dollars in cash and merchandise from a Sunglass Hut in Houston, according to a lawsuit filed January 18th in the Harris County District Courts. One of the men demanded all the money, while the other grabbed many pairs of sunglasses as he could, the suit alleges. The manager and the associate were then forced into the back of the store while the robbers fled. So it says the lawsuit accuses the head of loss prevention, the parent company for Sunglass Hut, of using artificial intelligence and facial recognition software to identify Harvey Murphy Jr. as a suspect. It says the company compared unclear security footage to Murphy's mugshots from the 1980s when he was convicted for non-violent burglaries. So basically it went through AI, you know, combing through social media, whatever. In this case, it was combing through mugshots from the 80s. And poof, this guy robbed before, was non-violent. Look like a match? Look like a match? Yeah, let's get him. I mean, despite it being the 80s, mind you, and this robbery took place way later, but at the exact same time that the robbery was going on, Murphy was 2,000 miles away in Sacramento, California, where he lived. The charges were ultimately dropped, but the damage had already been done. Mr. Murphy's story is troubling for every citizen in this country, his attorney, Daniel Duco, said in a statement. Any person can be improperly charged with a crime based on error-prone facial recognition software, just as he was. Now, this guy's honestly is like a worst nightmare scenario. It's scary when you think about it. I mean, AI could say, hey, it was you. And from what I read earlier in the story, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of share it. Mr. Murphy was headed back to Texas after living in California for a period. And as he was going to the DMV to get his ID, that was when, as he was preparing to get his ID, that the officer, you know, it ding, 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 let the officer know in the back, hey, this is a guy with a warrant out, and he got arrested on the spot. So could you imagine his bewilderment or confusion when you're there to get your ID, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you're charged with armed robbery. What? Who I robbed? When that happened? Yeah, you know, it happened not too long ago. We got you on camera. No, that wasn't me. I was in California then. Whatever, bro. Hands behind your back. Let's go. So he ended up being arrested and pretty much got locked up. And this is the tragic part. When he was in the jail, he was beaten and gang raped and left with permanent and lifelong injuries. So, I mean, as if it isn't bad enough that, you know, you're already in jail at 61 years old, knowing you didn't do it. And a few hours before your release, you're followed in the bathroom by 3 violent criminals, forced to the ground, assaulted, and attacked. This is just insane. And it's crazy because when you think about it, you know, why would you, I guess because it was an armed robbery, they figured put him up there with the violent offenders. But that's just one of the craziest things, you know, and like I said, it's a nightmare, just the thought that, hey, you could be falsely accused of something and end up getting this time. So his lawsuit included Elesior Lexcata and Macy as the defendants, the store Macy's. The Sunglass Hut, that's the company that basically handles their AI software and their loss prevention. And it says he's seeking $10 million for negligence, malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, and gross negligence. Woo! Hopefully he gets that 10 million, y'all. I think it should be more. If you've been assaulted in jail due to AI and Macy's mistake, bro, I want more than 10 million. But, you know, if he gets the 10 million, that's great. You know, God bless him. That is just a little bit crazy. I mean, what do y'all think about that? I mean, I know a lot of people are into the AI thing, you know, the software, the chat GPT and all these new things. And this is really good. I mean, I'm not an old fogey. I'm for technology, but at some point we do have to have some kind of guardrails or safety measures. I've heard stories where people have used people's voices and done, like, not only like how they do the deep fake videos, they did deep fake audios where they were able to try to get a mother to send money for her daughter that was in college, trying to make her afraid that something happened to her kid. And it just so happened that when she called her daughter's like, nah, I'm fine, I'm in school, nothing happened. But, you know, these kind of things, you know, kind of make you go, while we're looking at all this technology and how great it is, things could be a little scary. You got to be a little careful out there, folks.